Greetings and greetings to all. Thank you for joining us again in this 5 minute spiritual quest. My name is Master Abdullah Ngom. And we're going to continue our topic of the analysis of society on a spiritual point of view through the three major forces of society that rule humanity: religion, culture, and government. As we all know that all our laws, rules, and regulations, whether condemned or approved, are principles of these three major forces. They either cultural, political, or religious. So, and that's what make it so crucial for this system to be analyzed in many levels. And that's why we're going to go on a spiritual point of view to analyze this system, their function toward humanity, their true function toward humanity, not their claim, but their true function toward humanity. And one might ask, why spirituality? It's because spirituality surpasses the ideology or philosophy of this system. Because through the understanding of spirituality, only a universal truth is revealed. Only. No individual or organization or institution have the credibility of a universal truth. Only reality does. Because what I see, my truth, might not be your truth, and that might not be the truth at all. Vice versa. And this go on a personal level and on a global level as well. Because we have seen individuals battling over who's right and who's wrong. Each hold on to their truth. And that is the criterion of the conflict. Each claim to be right, usually on the same subject. And that's go the same on a global level. We have seen within our religious system. Each religion claims to be walking on the right path, having the truth. Each hold on to the truth. And that creates barrier between religious group and create conflict that we all have testified to, that many souls have perished due to that ideology of being right. And that go the same with our cultural system. You see, even people in the same nation try to annihilate each other based on cultural differences, based on the arrogancy of cultural superiority, battling over cultural superiority, and often try to annihilate each other. And the same go within our political system, because you see different political party in one nation, each claim to have the right ideas for the nation, to rule the nation, and they battling off on the political campaign. It doesn't matter which political party is elected, it's always the same or more of the same, if it's not worse. Each claim to have the truth, but reality proven that they are all wrong, because every political campaign, the issue that was being debated on the last campaign is always the same issue on the table. And what reality testified to, that there is not one government in this world ever existed who fulfill the right need, the moral need of the people, who have the right idea or implement the right ideas to fulfill the moral need of the people. There's not one government ever existed in this world that fulfill the moral need of the people. We did provide food for all, shelter for all, and equal education for all. These are basic moral needs. And throughout history, there's not one government that fulfilled this moral need to the people. So it doesn't matter who claims to have the right ideas. Reality have testified for them to be all wrong. See? So only, therefore, you see, it doesn't matter what your ideas are, what truth you hold on to, unless reality is testifying, its credibility, that's your truth. But whatever reality testify to as true, that's what we refer to as a universal truth. You can dismiss it, ignore it, but you cannot change it. Some might argue about what you mean about reality. We talk about our physical reality, because some label it as a holographic reality, some label it as an illusion, some label it as a dream. But whatever you name it, if it's a dream reality, that dream is our reality. If it's holographic reality, this holographic reality is our reality. Illusion, likewise. This physical reality, whatever this physical reality testify to as true, that is a universal truth. No one can change it. No one can change that reality. Because it's a fact. It's not my illusion or your illusion. It's a reality that we have different religions. We have their doctrine and their adherents that prove that to be fact. When we mean reality, this is the reality we're talking about. A reality that provides fact. That's why we're gonna continue this journey on the spiritual point of view and bring our founding to reality and see whether this founding holds a universal truth. And what we're going to do, we're going to focus more on our religious system that claims to be a divine institution. And we're going to bring our founding for reality to testify whether the claimed divinity of this institution holds a universal truth. And what we're about to say might be seen as radical, provocative, blasphemy, and might offend many. But we already have proven that there's not one organized religion in this world, in the face of this earth, that belongs to the God of humanity. Not one. There's not one organized religion in this world that belongs to the God of humanity. When you have an understanding of spirituality, it's clearly revealed that the spiritual biological thread that went through one life is the same that went through all lives, human and non-human. So through the understanding of spirituality, humankind cannot be divided. No one can be divided from another through the understanding of spirituality. Because even when one is seen as righteous or one is labeled as wicked, that spiritual thread cannot be broken. It's the same thread that went through all lives. The religion of the divine, God of humanity, is a religion without a temple. It's not an organized religion. It's a religion that exists within us all. A religion that allows you, enables you to see your commonality toward your fellow living beings. To understand that the same biological thread, the same spiritual biological thread that went through you is the same that went through all. But many of these organized religions that claim to be a divine institution, they have come to widen the path that have led many to the abyss, where the message of the true God is no longer resonate within the souls of humankind. It is where people can harm each other and feel no remorse, or have no concern of the reality the action produces. And the worst part of it, thinking that they are doing God's will. Harming someone and think that your religion, your prophet, or even God will forgive you for it. That is a lack of understanding. No one can. No one can forgive a sin to a sinner without the consent of the victim. No one have that authority under the heaven. No one under the heaven have that authority. No one does. We have the notion of Christ have died for our sin and all these religious fallacies. But harming others and think that Christ will forgive you for it, you're reading the wrong gospel. That is not the gospel of Christ. You're reading the wrong gospel. Except your righteousness exceed the righteousness of the Pharisee, you shall in no case make it into heaven, the kingdom of God. Matthew 5:22, he even said, if you angry at your brother without a cause, you might face danger for judgment. So it will be hard to believe one who gave that revelation would promise anyone a free pass to heaven. All this religious nonsense that Christ have died for our sin and the second coming Christ, all this nonsense is a religious propaganda. Violate all the laws of moral righteousness. But many have trapped within these religious fallacies, think that they can go harm others and be forgiven by their religions or through their religion or by their prophet or by God. With no one has that authority under the heavens. Even if you harm me, God will not forgive you for it, because that means God violated his laws of moral righteousness. If you harm me and God forgive you for it without my consent, God have violated his laws of moral righteousness. Because that is not moral. It's not right or just what righteousness is. And if God violated his laws, that means God is not divine. Because divinity means purity. And purity means one who do no wrong. And only God is. So if God forgive you for harming me, God have do wrong. That means God have violated his laws of moral righteousness. Therefore, God is not divine. God will not forgive anyone the sin that God is not the victim of. And no one has the credibility to forgive a sin that they're not a victim of. No one does. No one has that credibility under the heavens. If the worst of humanity who have passed, the thieves, the rapers, the murderers, the warmongers, all these individuals who are labeled the worst of humanity, who have died, if they were given second chance to come back alive, they would be more pious, righteous, and compassionate, even more than the self-claimed righteous one of our time that many are bowing to. Because in the hereafter, in the next journey that will come for us all, how you deal with your fellow living being will determine your next journey. Believe it or not. And putting these responsibilities on anyone's hand is a big mistake. All these systems, all these religious, organized religions are not needed. Your purpose, the purpose of everyone for being here in this world is a task that everyone is capable of on their own, without the help of any. Because it's something even a newborn can understand. even a newborn can understand. Harmless and be compassionate. Anyone can do. You don't need any religion, you don't need a prophet, you don't need anyone. You don't need anyone's help to do this task. It's thing that we all are capable of. This is the gospel that God have given to all his prophets. This is the gospel of Christ, and Christ have put it into action. Be harmless as a dove. If one smack you, one cheek, give him also the other. And it is a universal truth that no one wants to be harmed. Whether you're a baby, adult, man or woman, rich or poor, no one wants to be harmed. This is a universal truth. The purpose of every single soul in this world is to implement the laws of moral righteousness. That's what worshiping God is. To be harmless. To be harmless to any. And compassionate to all. That's what worshiping God is. Which is the true purpose of every single soul who ever walk in this world. The scriptures say in the beginning all creatures coexisted in the Garden of Eden where no creature was a threat to another creature before evil interfered. This is the God's law. This is the God fellowship with humanity. It's a simple requirement that anyone can do without the prophet, without being part of any religion. You can do it within any religion or without any religion. No one needs to help to be harmless. No one needs help to be compassionate. It's someone that we all are capable of. On our own by ourselves. Only if you're able to go beyond the barrier of these systems. Our purpose for being here is an easy task that we all can do. So dear friend, I think we're going to leave it here till next time. And as always, be well and God bless. And thank you for tuning in.